Greetings everyone, and Grade here of another Company Heroes 1 replay as I hit my microphone. Spawn on the north side as the US player we have LuckyStilet, Stop Poodler. Spawn on the south side as the Panzer elite player of LePepsi. Getting grad going for this munitions point here. Most of the time people actually don't go immediately for the munitions point. They usually eye the fuel point or something towards more the center rather than the safe munitions point. It's a little bit different, but maybe he has a plan. More of a plan than I do, at least. Panzer Grenadiers are making their advance. Just want to make sure everything's not lagging up. Yep, everything seems smooth. Just had to check my other screen. We got these engineers pushing the way forward to capture the safe munitions points as well. And going for the fuel point, we've got these engineers here. That is not a tank trap there. That is a stump. Not actually a stump. Stumps are usually lower than that. How tall does a stump need to be considered a stump and not considered a stump? Can a tree be like 10 feet tall, have no limbs, and still be considered a stump? Sorry if I ever pose these weird questions.
Engineer squad ready.
Is there a height maximum or minimum for a stump? There is an unbuilt tank trap there that's not a stump, though it is awfully thin, like a stump. And he actually does destroy the tank trap there, showing it. What was up with that sound?
Engineers, eyes and ears, come on.
That sound. Okay, am I going crazy or was that sound effect really, really off? Am I going crazy? Okay, I must be going crazy. I'm talking about stumps and all of a sudden I hear a weird sound effect and I am thinking I'm going crazy.
Capture complete. Listen up, squad.
We do have the Panzer Grenadiers making their advance, engaging the engineers. Let's look, there's 3 engineers out in the field. 4 engineers on the field, and he has gone for a barracks, so that's actually, I just realized that he went for no rifleman, 4 engineer opener. Starting to open fire on course on these Panzer Grenadiers. He has to charge at them. Got the G43 squad on the field, and a Jeep is being deployed out as well. So he's gone for the barracks for a Jeep, not a support weapon center for snipers, MGs, and mortars.
Our base is under attack.
Is the iron sort of Jeep spam? Has dropped on the engineer models there. Okay, there is a rifleman out on the field now. So 4 engineers could grant him quite a bit of camping pressure. He can be everywhere, and he's able to deal with Kettengrads with the engineers, unlike saying because they're armed as opposed to Kettengrad being unarmed. But they will have trouble versus Panzer Grenadiers. This rifleman squad needs to be a assault squad, needs to be focused on fighting the Panzer Grenadiers and engage in areas that he wants to win engagements. He can't be using it for his captain squad with all the engineers. That's literally the point of all the engineers. The Jeep can go around, knock around the Panzer Grenadiers like he's about ready to do right here. But this rifleman squad needs to be a fighting squad, not a captain squad. Jeep engaging close range, getting quite a bit of pens there. This engineer squad could push his way forward and capture up some squads. He's probably too busy microing all the other forces. Does use suppressive fire ability there with the Panzer Grenadiers. Only gets slowed down, not suppressed, so it doesn't reduce his fire output, other than being knocked around by the Kettengrad a little bit. And the Jeep and the Panzer Grenadier squad does fall back. Inside the garrison will need to fall back, severely wounded and prone to being wiped even right now, but he does fall away. 3 Panzer Grenadier squads here. That's probably all the Panzer Grenadiers. Actually, there's another squad here. And the engineer is still in a defense position. This cutoff point is now being reclaimed, but it's only getting the fuel income back into place.
Observation posts report we are losing a sector.
So we do have at least 1 Flamer squad out on the field, and very forward triage center is actually in front of the tree line. So a very forward triage center eyeing for forward healing and perhaps a forward reinforcements healing in order to engage engagements here. He's thinking that he's probably going to lose a lot of engagements since he played so far forward. There's a lot of healing needed here as well, which is very good. Still? Okay, we do have 2 rifleman squads out in the field. Of course, the G43 squad was spotted. The 2 rifleman squad and the flamer can easily displace them. And the Jeep is doing a good job drawing fire as well. It taking the damage is very good because keeping the health high on these forces can pan out for pay dividends with these continual engagements. 2 rifleman squads need to maintain them. Can't speak. The 2 rifleman squads need to stick together because they need to focus on Panzer Grenadiers as quickly as possible, and focusing down one at a time is very good. Even if they do have G43 squad that uses suppressive fire ability, the other one's still able to start firing as the other one soaks shots. Got 2 G43 squads here. Flamer squad coming to flank. He does actually withdraw quite early. Perhaps could have done a little bit more damage there, but just really wants to avoid the flamer. Over here, engineers engaging at close range. No flamer, but they're going to be way outnumbered. Even right now, they're prone to being wiped with how many Panzer Grenadiers there are right here. They receive some fire on the negative ground. He does withdraw in time. Down south, we do have the Jeep scouting around. We do have the Panzer Jaeger Command being deployed now. Likely we'll see a 222 or 3 222s.
Initiating defensive operations.
Defensive operation has been selected, so Rangers, he could go for Rangers actually, but he's probably going to go for Rifleman landmines, which he doesn't really need to use Rifleman to lay down landmines at the moment because he has a lot of engineers. For a time here, let's keep the Panzer Elite player selected so we know what doctrine he goes for. Rifleman receiving some fire here as these Panzer Grenadiers. The Kennengrad is going to be capturing up the point, allowing the Panzer Grenadiers to move behind heavy cover engage. The wounded one is behind the heavy cover at longer range, reducing good distribution of receiving fire, to say the least. This one will drop a model. The wounded one does go down to the flamer. This one could fall back relatively soon because he's, with the amount of riflemen here, or the amount of flamer, amount of firepower, he can't stick around for too long, also gets potentially wiped. The 3 G43 squads make an advance, making short work of the rifleman squad as the engineers receive quite a bit of fire there. They're falling back to Triage Center. They get healed on the front line and reinforcements thanks to the barracks. 222 now deployed on out. And I think the engineers received some fire there, but he will maintain continuous healing, but more of these G43 squads advancing. And the cutoff point has been claimed by the Kettengrad. I heard a landmine detonation here. The 222 has been slowed down thanks to finding that landmine. And now Jeep is coming in for a flank as Rifleman and the Flamer squad push the way forward. The Flamer squad will only fall back. He may lose it, but the healing perhaps saved it. Jeep is still falling back. Jeep could eventually go down. Jeep does go down. But then the Panzer Grenadiers do force them back.
Yankees are grabbing our territory. Use the feared Luftwaffe ground forces.
So we've got Luftwaffe ground forces versus infantry. I think the 4 engineer opener is not proving all so successful for the US player. He hasn't really sent out enough squads so the flanks are capturing all the points to make them worthwhile. And he needs more riflemen. 3 squads of riflemen is probably a bare minimum. Doesn't have grenades, doesn't have bars yet either. At least I don't think so. Well, definitely not bars, but I don't think grenades.
Luftwaffe ground forces have arrived and are now available for assignment.
We have the 1 Luftwaffe ground forces. The 222 has finally been repaired. He's trying to repair up the Kettengrad now. We do have a supply yard over here. A good number of sandbags being deployed now, all behind most of it behind the light cover there. So he will have heavy cover and healing right there in case it gets overran again. Kettengrad pushes his way forward. That's the rumble that we were hearing. And does camouflage forward. His opponent does not know what doctrine he's gone for just yet, so and if he spots Kettengrad in a brief moment, he will learn what doctrine selected. I suppose once he sees the Luftwaffe ground forces, then he definitely knows what doctrine he's gone for as well. And now the G43 squads are advancing, forcing back the riflemen. As engineer does get inside the garrison, while the Panzer Grenadiers are also will be able to duel out the engineers no problem. The two G43 squads engaging the flank, so that flank is very well secure. AT gun, of course, has been deployed out, ready to engage the 2-2 as the 2-2 is starting to make its advance.
Vehicle has been destroyed in action.
Even if he didn't realize that 2-2 tripped the landmine, it's a safe assumption that his opponent will deploy a light vehicle asset and be a fight against him because he's Panzer elite. Of course, we do have the light AT half-track deployed on out. And we've got a reinforcement half-track here. Interesting. We're seeing some great hits there from the AT guns. You will need to get a unit in garrison inside the half-track for the 50 caliber fire, such as with the... Oh, never mind. There's a quad half-track. Quad half-track, a relatively rare item to see. He, of course, does have the light half-track to engage it. And I think the quad half-track is more effective versus 2-2 than in return. So I do believe the 2-2 would lose out versus the quad. It's such a rare item to see, it's really hard for me to remember who actually wins a fight between those two. And also very reasonably armored, so he's able to push forward. He backs. Oh, gets immobilized there by the light TF half-track crit. And does get suppressive fire there from both of the G43s. The quad half-track needs to start engaging the light AT half-track as soon as possible. The anti-tank gun has to push his way over here as well. But I'm not exactly sure where the AT gun's at the moment. It's over on top right here, so it's in a bad position. So it looks like the quad half-track will go down to the light AT half-track, and he's not retargeted towards light AT half-track whatsoever.
We have eliminated the enemy once more.
It's a shame that went down so quickly. It's such a rare asset. I was hoping we could see some good use with it, but the light AT half-track was just what it was needed to counter it. He's probably expecting a Greyhound. That's why he built a light half-track, but he wasn't expecting quad, but he had to counter it either way. Let's go back to the US player, because there's no music being played for the Panzer Elite player. And we know both players' doctrines. Panzer Grenadiers are making their way forward, perhaps eyeing to get inside the garrison. US sniper has been deployed out, 0 kills, and received a bullet before sending a bullet. Riflemen start making the advance, perhaps eyeing for this heavy cover right there. Light half-track does get a direct hit onto the rifleman, and the sniper finds his first kill.
We're losing ground.
So the AT gun starts sieging down the structure.
57 crew ready for orders.
Another AT gun has been deployed out. That's a lot of AT guns, and he has lost an engineer in one engagement. He used to have 4. Mortar half-track has been deployed on now as well, ready to engage the last known positions of the AT guns. And we've also got some landmines, very nice. Ooh. Of course, he was trying to hit the garrison. Yep, he's sieging down the garrison, but there's nothing in there. And the Luftwaffe ground forces, of course, it did find the sniper.
They're firing on us!
Did I hear? Nope, that was light half-track, not a Greyhound. Getting another more hits on the rifleman. Has so far 1 kill, 1 light vehicle kill. Does he have 2 light half-tracks? No, he does not. That rifleman corpse is really bugging out. G43 squads, of course, force back to flamer, no problem. Single engineers won't be able to engage both of them. Sniper trying to engage, but facing the wrong angle, sort of dancing right there, as the rifleman and the flamer does fall back. G43 squads are making their advance. Looks like he received a mortar hit there, forcing back the engineers.
Engineers get the piss pounded out of us. AT
base is under enemy fire.
Snipers do get some good hits there onto the Panzer Grenadiers, and more mortars are raining on in here.
Observation posts report we are losing a sector.
Oh, and I heard a landmine detonation there. Not sure anything got wiped there. 2-2 now makes advance. Flamer won't be able to deal with these units. Both the AT guns are back at home, engaging units at long range, infantry units. And the Flamer squad will fall back. The Kettengrad does get spotted there. We're still continuously revealing the sniper there. Does it disable the camouflage mode there to allow him to sprint away or jog away? And the camouflage Kettengrad still in this region. Looks like I got another light ATF track deployed now. I see a lot of light vehicles here. Yeah, 2 light ATF tracks deployed now. This is one with 4 kills. This one has 1 kill, so he has 2 of them deployed now. 2 mortar half tracks and light in a 2-2. At this point, a Sherman tank or M10 is probably important. Though, against 2 allied half tracks, a lot of crits there, so maybe a Sherman tank, because the higher armors would be very, very important. And of course, the higher health pool as well. Rifleman started pushing the way forward. There looks like a downed Kettengrad here, so he has actually rebuilt a Kettengrad in one of the... So this is relatively new. Panzer Grenadiers just guarding the flanks as the AA anti-tank guns could push the way forward, helps try to engage these vehicles, but they just don't have any escort. Incendiary mortars do connect, forcing back the Rifleman squad. And the camouflage Kettengrad does get spotted right there. Another landmine being deployed on out, so multiple US landmines have been deployed, which would be very important to help prevent the light vehicles from rushing down the AT guns. Speaking of which, there's appear to be no anti-tank mine over here, and you should be able to decrew that AT gun no problem. Engineers and riflemen are right here, and snipers in the region as well, so the Luftwaffe ground forces won't be able to claim the AT gun for its own purposes. 2 US snipers have run out, ready to engage all the Panzer Grenadiers as they advance. G43 squads, 4 of them charging through the center of the map. There's no 30 cal in the center of the map, nor emplacement. And the engineers won't be able to hold out long. They almost got wiped out. The 2-2 does wipe them out. Snipers picking away. Rifleman needs to get behind this heavy cover there
Under attack.
in order to hold the line. Snipers getting knocked around onto the road, getting decamouflaged. As G43 squads are still making their advance, sticky grenades are now available, which is not exactly great in this current engagement. Flamer squads pushing the way forward, a lot of healing there. Panzer Grenadiers overextended their advance, and now the US player can rapidly advance, claim a lot of ground. As soon as they get some more blood,
Artillery support is waiting to get go.
we're getting some blood transfusions there. Off-map power shoots now available, which should be very useful. It's hit or miss. Can be. If he's not paying attention, get some great kills. If not, it will help dissuade any sort of advance. With 2 mortar half tracks, there's a lot of indirect fire. Getting some good flinch hits there. Not in kills, but flinches can be quite useful. So I got another anti-tank gun being deployed on out. Oh, I also got a lot of frames that were lagged out. Not sure what caused that. Maybe make sure to close out other browser tabs, because Chrome and eats RAM. Edge is even worse. Butterfly bombs have been found. He needs a minesweeper. It does not have an engineer to be upgraded. He lost another engineer squad in one of these engagements. And now G43 squads are now advancing towards the center of the map. Does get a model drop there on the AT gun. There are 3 AT guns deployed on out, and there are no 30 cows that stem the advance. Not like they could really stay around for too long with the mortar placements. Flamer Engineers making their advance. Both the Flamer Engineers are here, getting some much-needed healing, reinforcing the front line, and Panzer Grenadiers overextended the lines and forced them back once again. However, this rifleman squad will need to fall back over here, get some reinforcements. The mortar half tracks could start barraging down the triage center.
We're losing ground out there.
Sniper reporting heavy contact.
And more butterfly bombs not being brought in. I hear some more landmine butterfly mines detonations. We'll find another one.
Take it easy. We're ready. Second strike. The day's not over. Under attack.
Enemy unit down.
Ooh, something went down there. Looks like the 222 went down to the AT guns. Very nice. Kettingrad's still here, spotting, which is very nice. We could potentially see a flak 88 in this region, eventually. Panzer Grenadiers reform the lines, making their advance. This Panzer Grenadier still just guarding the flank, which is not half bad. If he can spare the manpower, he can. It's a good idea. This engineer, however, needs to fall back as soon as possible. He is captured the munitions point here, but is prone to being wiped by the mortars.
Artillery support is now available.
M2 is now available. Retreat.
Engineers ready.
Oof. He retreated just in time. That mortar nearly landed on top of his head. Snipers a bit wounded, but a veteran as well. Panzer Grenadiers making their advance. There's a handful of US landmines in the region. Finds a butterfly bomb there. Landmine detonation there, forcing back to the Panzer Grenadiers. These two are, however, still advancing, but there's two rifleman squads here and a pair of snipers, forcing both of them back.
Ready, rifleman.
And there's an M2 now deployed on out, ready to barrage perhaps the light vehicles. Speaking of light vehicles, light half track is up to 8 kills. And does decapture the point and fall back. And that's just the butterfly bombs. M2 raining on in somewhere.
Enemy unit
And
down.
gets a direct hit on the Luftwaffe ground forces. Takes out the Luftwaffe squad. Oh, wait a second. Okay, I don't see any additional corpses right there. That looked like a deadly hit there, but wipes out one squad. And now he has nothing really to push in against that M2. He will need to go in with a Panther or Panzer IV. It's gotten a bit quiet on the field. We got these Panzer Grenadiers advancing forward. There's actually... Okay, they're just really spread apart. I saw the two dots on the map and realized those two separate squads. But now they're starting to reform their ranks. Stealth Kettengrad still over here. And now Panthers have been deployed on out. He does have, what, 3 AT guns? Yeah. No, that's M2. Ah, there's a third one right there. So 3 AT guns are deployed on the field, which can make short work of Panthers, or Panthers can bounce all the shots. It's a bit hit or miss. Literally sometimes. Literally. Ah, can't speak. Looks like the landmine there may have been detonated by the mortar half-track. And M2's now raining on top of these mortar half-tracks. He does stop the barrages and back away. Very nice. And the stealth Kettengrad does alert him where these AT guns are out, but the Panthers are making their advance trying to engage these forces. Riflemen, of course, do have sticky bombs. We knew about that research.
Construction complete. Find some cover.
Good hits there on the riflemen.
Here. Construction detail. Our work is done here.
More landmines being deployed and out. The Kettengrad probably did not spot that one. And over here, Panzer Grenadiers making their advance. Force back the Flamer Engineer. Looks like all 3 of these Panzer Grenadiers eyeing perhaps engagement to over here. No 30 cal placement, no 30 cal weapon. Butterfly bombs are being gunned down as they start dropping on in. Of course, it's also the minesweeper as well. Panzer Grenadiers making the way forward. I get some engagements in as the riflemen start firing away. Enemy unit down. Ooh, one of these Panzer Grenadiers went down. Not sure from what, however. Maybe a landmine on the retreat path? Yeah, landmine on the retreat path as the snipers picked off 2 models there. Very nice. Flamer engineers push the way forward. It does force back the Panzer Grenadiers. Mortars hits decrease one of these AT guns. The other one is currently suppressed. Good hits there onto the AT gun, even on penetrating round. But the Kattengrad here for spotting, he's able to drop mortars on top of these AT guns, no problem. Panthers started making their advance, getting some good hits there onto the riflemen. Does manage to throw a sticky bomb onto one of the Panthers. AT gun pretty far away, however. Didn't damage the engine, which just stalls out the engagement. Central VP is just decaptured. It's not scorched earth, so it's not scorched. Oops. And Light TF track does fire some shots there with the new opening thanks to the M2. We do have these 2 Panthers pushing the way forward. Engine still damaged on this one. And now the mortars are raining on in somewhere over here, and his tank traps being deployed on now as well. Which won't stop Panthers. Panthers should still be able to crush those if I remember correctly. Snipers getting some good hits there onto the Panzer Grenadiers. This one squad needs to fall back. He's prone to being wiped. He does fall back in time. And now the sniper should be able to turn around, focus down one of these squads, line the rifleman squads to engage. Does get the wipe on that squad, but the next sniper will get the fire off on this squad here. The snipers are far enough away, they can start being moved forward. Snipers get a good hit there, rolls and miss on the retreating squad. And the Kettengrad pushes his way forward, will spot, and it's still a handful of butterfly bombs in the southern region, as well as the US landmine. This US landmine is actually damaged. I'm not sure it's fully built, but I think it's fully built.
Rifle squad is being engaged! Rifle squad, here! Got resistance here!
Enemy unit down.
Oh, I heard enemy unit down. M2 howitzers into the base. Looks like a Panzer Grenadier may went down there. Not the flak guns. So he starts retreating back, making those aggressive engagements. Makes it easy pickings for the M2. Can't be too aggressive now with these Panzer Grenadiers.
105 ready!
These M2s are very, very close together, but there's likely nothing to splash them down at the same time. Though mortars could potentially charge forward, throw some mortars there, but that's still unlikely.
One shot.
Got a Vet 3 sniper here. This one has 13 kills, so at least 18 kills for Vet 3, not 13 kills for Vet 3. Kettengrad pushes his way forward. Will spot those snipers there. So snipers are revealed. You may not realize that they're revealed just now. And the Panzer Grenadiers are making their advance, forcing back the riflemen. Over here, we've got the mortar half tracks still engaging. This Panther still has a damaged engine. Sniper's still in the region. He has a good general idea where they're at now. And mortar's now raining on in on the spotted mortar half tracks. Honestly, the fact that Luftwaffe ground forces get camouflage Kettengrads is such a powerful ability, because a lot of these mortars half tracks to rain in exactly where they need to.
Crew, look alive!
Losing a victory point. We are losing a victory
I
point.
heard explosion over here.
Weapon crew lost.
Weapon crew lost, likely down to AT gun. Yep, 2 AT guns remaining. And now the Kettengrad is getting burned up a bit, but these forces get forced back because 2 Vet 1 Panzer Grenadiers. That's great. Does take out the Kettengrad there, so no more camouflage Kettengrad, so no more spotting, which is actually very important. But there's now a fresh Kettengrad here, or partially fresh
Sector being
Kettengrad.
captured.
Snipers looks like engaging away on these Panzer Grenadiers, at least this one here. 19 kills here, still 13 kills on the other one. Mortars raining on in on top of the riflemen. Riflemen perhaps eyeing for steep on the mortar half-tracks, deeming them a bigger threat. At this point in time, the mortar half-tracks are probably a larger threat than the Panthers. M2 does get a minor hit there onto the Panther. And gets a minor splash there onto the mortar half-track as well. And gets a direct hit there, taking out one of the mortar half-tracks. Very nice.
We hold the initiative. At this rate,
This landmine was
regiment
spotted by the
has heavy infantry
Kettengrad.
reserves.
And now we do have Rangers available. It's unlikely we'll see them deployed. Though right now... Here, off-map howitzer?
Enemy unit down.
Oh, no, it must have been on-map howitzer. Gets a direct hit there onto... Not so sure what that was. And maybe the other mortar half-track could have been the Panther. I'm actually not sure what actually went down there. Let's switch over to the Panzer Elite player to get an idea, because those howitzers are raining on in, dealing so much damage. He's down, so that's both 2 light half tracks. He's down to only 2 Panzer Grenadiers, so this is actually a great time for Rangers. They're built for bazookas or Thompsons. Well, both if he gets Thompsons. Would be quite useful. Great for rushing down the mortar half tracks, light ATF tracks, and putting some good damage there on the Panthers. So at this point in time, I do believe Rangers are a good idea. Because right now, these M2s they've been quite accurate. 12 and 2, 1 light vehicle, no light vehicles. Because right now, the M2s are just doing good.
Yes, sir.
Riflemen are receiving some fire from light ATF track. And we've got these snipers
Grenades
perhaps
have
pushing the
arrived.
way forward. He does now have grenade research. Interesting. Has a bit of munition stockpiled, and the off-map power shoot's not going to be very useful for Panzer Elite. It's good against Wehrmacht with all the more likely to see Pack 38s, things of that sort as well. But against Panzer Elite, not so much. Does find a landmine there.
Territory is ours. Let's go. Back in the fight. Take cover. That's it. Construction finished.
Do have a self-Kettengrad here for spotting purposes, so it likely has spotted the AT gun. The AT gun's probably just clean up the hedge line, though it's pretty close to actually hitting the Kettengrad, but both of them are firing, trying to destroy these hedge lines, open up the spotting, allowing more field of fire for the M1 AT guns. Panzer Grenadiers making their way forward. That is pair Luftwaffe ground forces. Kettengrad here, and oops. And light half tractors trying to protect the flank.
We're losing them as fast as we're getting them.
Snipers are making their way forward. Rifleman has lost the model as the Panthers finally getting that engine repaired. Here, M2s, I'm not exactly sure where they're landing. He's just sieging the base. A lot of this infrastructure is a bit wounded. The camp crew company likely can go down. And now we do got the flak Irving receiving a bit of fire as well. Good hits there onto the fuel point.
Building complete.
We've lost a unit. They're all dead.
Oh, looks like the mortars took out the AT gun. There is a 30 cal emplacement there. which could be very useful, help secure that central point, but the Panthers, of course, can make short work of it. The two Luftwaffe forces make their advance. Riflemen are eyeing for a sticky bomb onto the mortar half-track, I believe. No, he's throwing for a frag grenade.
We are losing
Landing in a
sector.
relatively poor spot there, but let's get some good hits in. And the Rifleman squad does receive a hit there as well. M2's raining on in. Finds a decent hit there on the Luftwaffe ground forces as the Panzer Grenadiers also fallen back as well. He needs to make sure it sort of falls back over here, I would say.
What are my coordinates?
A lot of US landmines in this region. He will need to back away the AT gun away from the Luftwaffe ground forces. And we also got some Fallschirmjägers here. And gets a nice hit there on the Luftwaffe ground forces. Likely we'll see some FG-42s relatively soon, and the US player is at pop cap. Has a third M2 deployed out on the field, as well
Squad lost.
as had up to 4 AT guns on the field. A lot of support weapons. A lot of support weapons. Another Curiosity has been deployed back here. This one was partially useful, but this one just reduces micro quite a bit, and plus potentially heal up his AT artillery pieces if he ever gets them wounded by a mortar or two.
That's a ball game.
Looks like he's barraging this munitions point here, just raining in artillery. And we got a forward HQ by the US player, relatively rare sight, and a lot of tank traps here.
Position taking fire! Enemy unit destroyed!
And Engineer is being deployed on the front line. Unusual thing to see, but looks like it's going to get deployed out for a minesweeper, I'm assuming, in order to get all those butterfly bombs swept. It'll take a bit of time for them to be swept, but you will get them swept. Good, it's there onto the Panzer Grenadiers. And the
front lines
Engineer
are collapsing.
cannot deploy until it gets more population space. In actuality, it's probably going to just cancel at this point, because if he does deploy it out,
enemy
it
is
means
down
it'll
to
prevent him
300
from reinforcing with other squads. Good hit there.
Casualties being reported.
And he does lose a squad entirely. I'm not sure what squad, however. So it's 2 riflemen. He lost one of the snipers. Oof. And that's,
Enemy unit down.
the sniper is still alive, but barely. Over here, Panthers are engaged the Flamer Engineers. We're going for the cutoff point. Panzer Grenadiers and Fallschirmjägers and Luftwaffe ground forces are making their way forward towards the center of the map. The MG emplacement still alive. Got these mines being swept. Slowly but surely, they'll all be swept. And we do have the Flamer squad does go down. Bit of a waste there. He still has 2 alive. The Minesweeper squad is falling back. Risk of being wiped. Flame Engineer squad can't really engage these forces as they start advancing. And 30 ground placement does get spotted there. And more butterfly bombs now being brought on in. They're being brought in right there. Around right there. Panzer Grenadiers do fall back. Panther does charge it forward. Gets a nice flanking opportunity on the AT gun, but the AT gun may get a rear armor hit there. Luftwaffe ground forces do fall back. AT guns advancing. May get a good rear armor hit there. Does get a good rear armor hit there. This one may get fully destroyed. The gun itself is almost down. Does fully go down.
Enemy unit down.
Resistance here!
Over here we do have the Katagrab push his way forward.
Front lines are collapsing.
We may see a sticky bomb onto the Panther. Yes, we do see a sticky bomb. Now the M2s could potentially fire a barrage on top of it. It may not kill the Panther, but may kill the repairing squads. Riflemen's still in the region, so I have some good spotting. But now the rifleman squad will likely to fall back over soon. Butterfly bombs in the tree path. Those lose that model there. And the snipers do get a number of kills there on that Luftwaffe ground forces, perhaps saving the riflemen. Second sniper has been rebuilt. Direct hit there onto the mortar half track. Or was that light? Yeah, mortar half track. Rifle squad is now receiving a bit of fire.
We're receiving fire!
Good hits there.
We don't need ammo, no! Engaging!
And the rifleman squad will fall back in time. Camouflage Kettengrad will spot all this, will spot the fresh MG emplacement. Well, the US MG emplacement does not consume any population space. The Brit one does, but does not consume any fuel, the British one. While the US one does consume fuel.
T-SWAT under fire!
Sniper throws a round onto the Kettengrad. Wilson got a decent hit there. AT gun fires and gets direct hit there, killing it while camouflage. AT gun being overran. Looks like this one was suppressed by the suppressive fire ability of the G43s. AT gun does get decrewed there, but the Panzer Grenadiers get forced back by the snipers.
Ground armor!
Panther severely wounded. One penetrating hit there could kill off the Panther. But looks like he's forced far on the ground. Doesn't have vision of the region. And the M2's however fired upon the retreat path, gets direct hit, killing it off. Panzer Air Command and the Camp Proof Company has gone down. The headquarters has been repaired. Ooh, direct hit there onto those infantry units.
We're losing them as fast as we're getting them.
US players playing this game quite well. His opponent has gone for a lot of like not aggressive units early on,
Field's clean.
and since they allowed him to get us some M2s to reach them and punish him for it. So what should the Panzer Elite player do at this point in time? Probably Panzer 4Cs. Be a bit more aggressive. There's a lot of AT guns.
Field's clean.
And his snipers are still a problem as well.
Landmines detected.
If he has Hotchkisses available, some Warframe upgrades wouldn't be half bad. And use the guns still to skirmish around, because Hotchkisses are quite durable in comparison to the mortar half-tracks. But other than that, I'm not so sure what the Panzer Elite player should do. He could deploy out Flak 88, which can quickly kill off the AT guns, giving opening for usage of 222s. But I'm not so sure what the Panzer Elite player should do at this moment in time. Because these M2s will quickly shut down any sort of Flak 88. And there's, what, 3 of them deployed on the field? All of them Veteran C2.
We have finished construction. Point is ours.
Panther's constantly been needing repairs. The light half-tracks haven't really accomplished all too much, other than taking out the quad half-track and get some decent hits there. At least this one got some good kills, 18, which is more than the snipers for quite a bit of time.
Who do you want dead?
Sticky Bomb does get connected. Good hits there with the Panther and light half-track. Destroyed engine crit, but the destroyed engine has been repaired, and the light half-track has gone down. And the rifleman does get wiped out. More Fallschirmjägers wouldn't be half bad, but the 30 cal emplacements does reduce mobility, and the sniper's still a problem, especially to the Fallschirmjägers. Losing those mortar half-tracks is probably his biggest problem he has. The fact that he's unable to
They have 200 points.
spot with the Kettengrad and barrage those AT guns. I think that may be what really has been a bit problematic.
We've got new recruits. Get your kit form up.
And again, another forward HQ. And again, deploying another AT gun.
Landmines.
So that'd be AT gun number 4,
Crew ready for orders.
deployed on the field. And guess what? The HQ has gone down. The US player is very close to getting an annihilation victory. There's flak guns still alive, but severely wounded. I forget, does flak guns prevent annihilation or not? I know the bunkers for Wehrmacht does, but I'm not sure about the flak guns, the flak Irvings.
They're on to me. Taking fire.
maybe not Panzer 4Cs, but he also has access to the Warburwind flak guns, flak panzers. That may be a good idea. Crushes one of the snipers. That was the lesser vet one. The vet 3 one will escape on out there. Panther's charging forward, finally being aggressive. Has to perhaps eat a sticky bomb or two, but he's going to go in and try to kill off those artillery pieces because he needs to take those out. And there's too many 30 cals now left in the region for his potion makers to advance. They're not upgraded either with FG-42s. Light TF also coming to advance, doing some good job of knocking around these forces. He even got a decrew there of the AT gun, and now all the supporting infantry is here to support as well, able to avoid the suppression with these forces. Panther charging forward. He just had to be hyper aggressive, not super aggressive, but at this point hyper aggressive, and it's potentially we can get some crushes there depending on the angle. Doesn't have an engine snare there, but going for the artillery piece. He's trying to repair up the artillery piece while in combat. Got damage into there, but it's a suicide run. Off my power chute, raining on in, not onto there, not sure onto where. AT gun does go down, does interrupt the landmine placement. One artillery piece remaining, does get another sticky bomb off. Trying to build a landmine in front of it, but he's not eyeing to keep it alive. It's a suicide run. Sees down the barracks and the forward triage center.
Base is under enemy fire.
Fresh Wehrmacht or US sniper. He could potentially claim this AT gun with his Luftwaffe ground forces to help use to gauge these buildings, but it's not very close to getting going down anyways. Damaged engine, severely low in health. It's not unlikely it's going to get the kill or get it back. He does decapture the cutoff point, but it is not cutting off any sectors because this one is claimed. Fire. The search for VP is still claimed as well.
Enemy unit down. We are losing a sector.
Panther's still alive. All artillery pieces are down. Landmine built here. This one is not fully built. He's going for the motor pool. Maybe a better idea to go for the triage center, but it's still, of course, the other triage center, so maybe not. Going to the far side of the building, trying to repair up the motor pool.
Got hostiles in the compound. Base is under attack.
And now the Polish Jaegers are capturing up the VP. Rangers now deployed on the field. Probably a good transition. Be able to engage the Panther best stuck in his base. AT gun could rotate around over here. Perhaps a mover towards this section. Does retreat back to the HQ, which can leave it vulnerable to being crushed. But of course, the damage engine takes out the Panther, giving the Panther Rangers immediately Veterancy 1, and Thompsons are now on the way. Bergantiga. That one in back in the base is a bit too far away, but there's some light vehicles here. That's the light TF track. There's the down Panther, so Bergantiga can reclaim that. Not really a whole lot of... Oh, so maybe a Kettengrad here and there, but that's right there. And so the person said no is the US player. Ranger has fired up, avoiding the suppressive fire ability of the Panzergrenadiers. They'll still be slowed, but they won't be suppressed. Potion makers now engaging. Let's switch up the Panzer player. Let's see. The US player has Rangers, Rifleman, Sniper, and 2 Engineers, and an AT gun. Not a whole lot. The Panzer player does have a lot of infantry, including 2 Potion Jaegers. Neither of them upgraded with FG-42s. His playing mission as well. Probably best go for the FG-42s. Maybe a good time as well to get the verbal win. Panzer 4C wouldn't be half bad as well, as opposed to the verbal win. Set up down, he provide more firepower and set up state. Of course, he could have Hotchkisses selected, which a Warferman wouldn't be entirely bad either. 4 HQ is still built. He can still deploy out assets to it, thanks to the fact that his motor pool is still alive, so they pull out his AT guns there. He does get one squad upgrade of extra 42s. Very good.
Americans are seizing territory from us.
Sniper still a problem for Fallschirm Jaegers. The Luftwaffe ground forces do have a lot of models, so they're more resilient to sniper fire. Panzer Grenadiers and the Luftwaffe ground forces making their advance. Flame Engineers, that Trio Center is still there, so he has forward healing, which is great for those Flame Engineers behind heavy cover. They do drop a model there. Luftwaffe ground forces will need to fall back relatively soon. They're quite wounded. G43 squads, however, gained some great hits there on the Vet 2 riflemen. And the Thompson Rangers making an advance. Verbal 1 has been deployed on out. The Fallschirm Jaegers are here, and this one's back at home. He will need to fall back relatively soon with the Fallschirm Jaegers. He does throw a frag grenade there from the Rangers.
We are losing ground.
Rangers have captured the point, which leaves them a bit more exposed to the verbal wind. Bazooka model here, I think it's actually the one that's actually capturing. The other one does fire and rolls a hit there. AT gun does, however, roll a good hit as well.
Awaiting instructions. New jumper report. Go ahead.
Over here,
Attention.
landmine was
Enemy
detected
advances.
and destroyed by the G43 squad. Yep, it was that guy. And now we do have, of course, the engineers capture the central point, and the VPs are in favor of the US player by a large margin. Butterfly bombs still in this region. There's two more right there. Found another one. That one is still up. Minesweeper squad does go down, leaving more vulnerable to the butterfly bombs, and the Vet 2 sniper does receive hits there. Looks like he lost the Vet 3 sniper and finds a landmine there. Thompson Rangers making their advance. A verbal end, and of course, can receive some bazooka hits there. But may leave him exposed to the G43s. 2 hits there. Verbal one will need to fall back. Does use fire up to avoid the G43 suppressive fire ability. Bazookas. One of the bazooka models do go down, so it only has one bazooka up. Over here, Fallschirm Jaegers do both of them have the FG42 upgrade now. And now we do have another M2 now deployed out on the field. He is saving up some bit of manpower. He could save up another pair of Panthers or rush down that M2 and does find this landmine here. Severely wounded, snipers picking all of them off. He needs to fall them back. That squad needs to fall back as well. Rangers receiving reinforcement healing from the front line. They're veteran C2 now. That's going to be very deadly. And the M2s are now raining on in. And this Fallschirm Jaeger squad could potentially go down to a M2 round. But no, the last round has fallen.
Fallschirmjäger here.
He's unlikely to get annihilated anytime soon because the Panzer Support Command is still at full health, has not received any rounds. You can see where all the rounds will land. None here, all of them here.
Steady up, squad. Tank standing by.
And looks like the verbal one now is getting killed on
We're down to 100 points.
Fallschirm Jaegers and Rangers will be duking out. Fired up has been activated. Finds a landmine there. So that Fallschirm Jaeger squad will need to fall back relatively soon. The Rangers next to the Fort HQ, so you will have forward reinforcements. Fallschirm Jaegers and G43 squads making an advance, and now leaving the Rangers engaged close range, but they're now exhausted M2's got a good hit there onto the Luftwaffe ground forces. Yep, all the Luftwaffe ground forces are now down. AT guns now under siege. And the Flavor Squad does go down as well. So no more reinforcements. One AT gun does get decrewed, falls back for both those infantry units. There are 2 Rangers now out in the field. That's a lot of Thompson fire. Vorbowen is fully repaired and more or less in defense position. Based on the fact he's saying his manpower, I do believe he is going for the Panther. It's actually got another Vorbowen. Second Vorbowen actually has been deployed on out.
Ready for orders. Go ahead.
Panzer, we must defend the enemy's advances on our victory points.
He can receive a sticky bomb here, but the Vorbowen should be able to protect that VP. But the bazookas are actually approaching. He could potentially receive a lot of bazooka fire right there. Sticky bomb was being thrown. That was decaptured the point. He's trying to go down for the sticky bomb, but this gets suppressed and pinned by the Vorbowen.
Anti-aircraft guns.
His infantry force is advancing right there. He needs to send over a squad over here, perhaps a Panzer Grenadier. Fired up has been activated. Bazookas do roll 1 hit. And the next bazooka shot does roll a miss there. The other one got interrupted. Riflemen getting ripped apart right there. As these infantry forces are making their advance, an AT gun does go down. Decrewing AT guns is very important for the Vorbowens. The Panzer League player doesn't have a whole lot of VPs remaining. Got another thing being deployed out there. It's likely going to be another sniper. And does use suppressive fire ability there on the Rifleman squad. Rangers should be able to skip out no problem, but the Rifleman squad may get wiped out. 2 snipers are out in the field. Hellcat being deployed out. Looks like the off-map combat group to include a pair of mortars. Not exactly what he wants. A 30 cal would be much more useful, but here comes the HS-129B3. Takes out the Hellcat immediately. Rifleman immediately gets suppressed out. That's the fresh Rifleman squad. And now we've got the bazookas. 1 squad firing it up. The AT gun shot does connect the Hellcat carcass. Bazooka does connect there. That one does roll a miss, miss, and hit. This one needs to really fall back. The other one could stand around a little bit longer. Fresh Fallschirmjäger squad. And this one really needs to fall back, get repairs up by the Panzer Grenadiers. And the snipers and Thompsons to make short work of that fresh Fallschirmjäger squad. Butterfly bombs being called on in right there, which will distract the fire, but probably not any butterfly bomb detonations there. Panzer Grenadiers making an advance. It does go out of control there to the AT gun. Fallschirmjägers need to start decapturing the VP as the Panzer Grenadiers make their advance. Good hits there onto the M1 AT gun. Snipers do connect as well, taking out that Panzer Grenadier squad right in front of our eyes. And looks like the Panzer League player is losing all of his infantry forces, unable to capture the central VP. 1 repair squad remaining, so that's his only squad to repair up the damaged Vorbowen. The M2 is now raining on the base location. Takes out the base flak.
Base is under enemy fire.
And that force does fall back.
Remain. We must secure a victory. The homeland is depending on us.
And I don't think the Panzer League player can really get back the game. Take a slowly counting down against him. And US player is in a great position. Has Rangers fully healed. Has a sniper, 2 snipers deployed on the field. One veteran C3, the other one veteran C2. There's a handful of butterfly bombs in this region which could make their difference, but the Rangers can't fire it up to ignore the suppression, but not necessarily ignore the damage. Vorbowen still has a damaged engine, got fresh Fallschirmjägers supported now from a building, and will severely wounded the M1 AT gun, but the Rangers in the region can run them down. Verbal One severely wounded, does take out the AT gun there. This Fallschirmjäger squad can be focused on by Thompson, so likely focused on by Thompson's. This Fallschirmjäger squad is engaging, does find a butterfly bomb there, seeing a lot of fire, and that Fallschirmjäger squad will escape on there. This one's severely wounded as well, and will not go down there. Rangers do throw a frag on top of the Fallschirmjägers, getting good hits there. Panzer Grenadier squad will fall back. Fresh Luftwaffe ground forces.
Arrived and are now available for assignment.
And he's the point is decaptured. He could take time to repair up the World War It's at Veterancy 1, so it has increased accuracy. But it's an AT gun range. And we do have more butterfly bombs being called on down. Suppressed there by the Verbal One.
Sniper! Take cover!
And the Luftwaffe ground forces will fall back. Some of these butterfly bombs are now camouflaged, so you could find some more damage. He does get pinned there and falls back. Mortar smoke, because he does have the 2 mortars from the off-map combat group, and as well as 30 cal from probably the off-map combat group. And looks like he goes ahead and casts in GG. The Panzer League player has backed out of the game. And yep, and that's the end of the game. This is Adam Grade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.